Today we're going to look at how we measure angles. So far, in the mathematics and geometry that you've done, angles are measured in degrees. So if I have 1 degree, so if we have a protractor, basically 1 degree is something really, really tiny, probably even smaller than what my iPad's able to do. So 1 degree is a very small component, so that if I look at a complete circle, okay, this side's not going to work. If I look at a complete circle, we know that the number of degrees around the outside of the circle is 360. So if we go the whole way around, 360 degrees. But what we need is we need a way of measuring angles that are smaller than a degree. Now, in class, using your protractor, usually, more often than not, you won't be working with angles that are smaller than 1 degree. But if we look a larger scale, such as if we were looking at places on the Earth, we know that the Earth is spherical, so 1 degree distance could be several hundred kilometers worth of physical distance. So we need to have a more specific way. And this is where minutes and seconds come in. So you'll look at these words and you'll be like, oh, that looks really familiar. Okay, and it looks very much like time. So when we're measuring angles, we use degrees if we need to go smaller, or if we've got angles that have decimals in them, what we do is we divide them into minutes and seconds. So if I have 1 minute, it's equal to 1 degree is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. And that's the notation we use. So degrees, we use a little circle. If I have minutes, it's like an apostrophe. And seconds is a double apostrophe, okay, or your quotation mark. So these are the symbols that we use for degrees, minutes, and seconds. So you can see that because we're using 60 as the total, if we needed to round off values, then the halfway point is going to be at 30. Okay, so 30 is going to be your magic number. So let's have a look at these questions. Round the following to the nearest degree. So if I need the nearest degree, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the minutes. Okay, so if we're looking at this question, we've got 73 degrees and 27 minutes. We need to look at the 27 and work out whether we need to round up or down. So 27 is smaller than 30, so that means we're going to round this number down. So we're going to cut off the minutes, and it's 73 degrees. For our next question, we've got 9 degrees and 41 minutes. Again, we're going to check the minutes. We can see it's bigger than 30, so we need to round it up. So the degrees is going to go up by 1, so that's going to be 10 degrees. And with the last one, we've got 44 degrees, 15 minutes, and 40 seconds. Well, we don't need to worry about the seconds at all, okay, because they're so small that it's not going to affect our number. We just need to focus on these minutes. So we've got 15 minutes, smaller than 30, so we're going to round down. So that's 44 degrees. What we also want to be able to do is to convert angles from degrees, minutes, and seconds into decimals or back and forth. So as a decimal, when we're looking at decimals, we want to be able to change them into degrees, minutes, and seconds so we can do our rounding off, or sometimes we want to go back to a decimal as well. How we do this is we've got a button on our calculator that helps us to do this, and that's the degree button. So it's the button that looks like this. Okay, and now you actually understand what these symbols mean. So if you look at your calculator, it's next to your negative button. That's your degree, that's your minute, and that's your second. So it's like it's called a degree, minute, second button. I call it the bubble button because it's got a bubble on it. Okay, so I'll refer to it as the bubble button quite a lot. So for these questions, if you want to change back and forth between degrees, minutes, and seconds and a decimal, we treat that button like our SD button. So what we're going to do first is, with our question, we're going to put this into the calculator. So you're going to put in 82.5 degrees, so bubble button, and you're going to press equals. Now, for some of your calculators, that will probably convert it automatically into degrees, minutes, and seconds. But if it doesn't, once the number appears in the bottom bit of your calculator, if you press the bubble button, it'll change back and forth between degrees, minutes, and seconds and a decimal. So if you've already put that degree symbol in the top, then it should come out in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So this question, 82.5 degrees, is 82 degrees and 30 minutes. Now what you'll see is there's going to be a 0 with the double apostrophe, 0 seconds as well, and we don't really need to worry about that. For our next one, we've got 60.81 degrees, so we're going to put in 60.81 degrees, press equals, and it will come out with your degrees, minutes, and seconds, and it's 60 degrees, 48 minutes, and 36 seconds. Now the question did ask for the nearest minute, so if I want the nearest minute, I want to keep the degrees, keep the minutes, and I need to check the seconds. Now it's 36 seconds, so it's going to round up. So that's going to be 60 degrees and 49 minutes. For our last question, we've got 4 3/4 of a degree. Now, you can put that into your calculator as a mixed numeral by pressing the shift and fraction button, or if you recognize it, that's just 4.75 degrees. Okay, 3/4 is 0.75. So we're going to put 4.75 degrees into the calculator, press equals, and you get 4 degrees and 45 minutes. So that's how we convert between degrees, minutes, and seconds and decimals, and also a little bit on rounding. So for this lesson, you're just going to be doing the questions that are down here. So there's no exercise from your textbook. I would recommend working down these ones. Okay, there will be a couple of questions where you will be using the sine, cos, and tan buttons on your calculator. Basically, it's just put them into your calculator exactly as it is and calculate the values for each of those. If you've got a bit of time, you might want to go in and do some of the earlier questions up here as well. The answers are just here, so you can check that your answers are correct as you go.